Welcome back to the Cricket Today show, brought to you by TABTouch, who bring you daily sports markets covering every BBL match so you never miss a beat. I'm your host, Leo Mullaly, still no stats guy, but I'm joined as always by Marcus Bazzano. Marcus, how are you doing on this fine Thursday morning?
Beautiful. Where is Stats Guy? He's MIA for 2 shows in a row now, a week.
No, I think it's a well-deserved holiday for
over,
Stats Guy, and
over the
I think
Christmas.
he's back mid next week, I want to say.
I think so. But look, we still got to get it on without him. But we miss him.
Yeah,
People are falling on their knees in Woolworths saying that he's not hosting the show.
we do hate him from time to time, but we also hate to say that we miss him. I think sneakily.
100%.
So, he's one that you just can't go without the Stats Guy. Like a little bit of love for him. Let's get some love for Stats Guy.
He's like that little tiny 5'3" brother that you just love.
You just called him short in 4 different ways there, and I love it. Now we'll get right into the show. So feel every play and be right in the action throughout a massive Aussie summer of cricket with TABTouch. Massive show today. We're going to preview and predict the SCG test between Australia and India. Still plenty to play for both teams with the World Test Championship in mind, but for India wanting to retain the Border-Gavaskar trophy. So there's a lot to play for in that match. And we're also going to be covering off all the major BBL talking points from the last couple of days, including all things Supercoach. I think we've got a bit of a score update, and as well, we're going into our buy, hold, sell for round 5, which begins tomorrow night. So bit of timely content for all you Supercoach watchers out there.
Spot on.
Before we start, be sure to get around the show on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Marcus, putting you under the pump again.
I'm prepped, mate. I'm prepped. I've got an exact number for you today, Leo.
What are we at?
2644.
2644. Okay.
2644. We're close to 2.65.
Interesting. So, okay. I think we were 261 a couple of days ago. So we've got to keep slowly building. 3K's the goal. So hopefully we get there. And also check us out on the socials at Cricket Today AU and download TABTouch today. Imagine what you could be buying instead. For free and confidential support, call 1-800-858-858 or visit gamblinghelponline.org.au. Let's get into the quick single, Marcus. Bit more to cover off, I think, in this one. The quick single last time was more. We just wanted the emotional side of the Boxing Day test.
We just wanted to talk cricket, actual game of cricket, but now some off-field problems have sort of hit the headlines.
Yeah, so I read this one yesterday. Fox Cricket reporting cracks in the Indian camp. There might have been a bit of mayo on this story. But,
they're nervous.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think it's definitely a bit of mayo there, just to sort of get in their heads before the final test match.
Definitely. It was reported that head coach Gordon Gambier has had enough with the playing group. Players playing their own way for the sake of their natural game instead of playing shots based on the situation. So I think that was reported by the Express, and Fox Cricket then picked it up. But is that a crack at Rishabh Pant? Is that a little dig at Rishabh Pant?
Well, it's easy to single him out because he's played a couple of stupid shots. As
he did it
in
both innings, yeah.
He did, yeah. Particularly in this, the first innings was bad, but the first innings was probably a worse shot. But the second innings, with the game the way it was, there was no need to do what he did, which made it arguably worse than the first innings dismissal.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree more there. Going on from that, you mentioned stupid shot, and that was a quote by Sunil Gavaskar on I think it was the radio. He said that JSW's dismissal was an optical illusion, or could have been an optical illusion.
Yeah,
I don't know what you think about that one, but
I didn't know a hard cricket ball that's swinging in can deviate and go the opposite direction.
Maybe there was some spirit in the air or something,
I don't know.
That changed the course of the ball. Or maybe it was just a gust of wind that came
the MCG. The MCG's an old stadium, mate. There's some ghosts and
there's some history there, all right?
Oh yeah, there's some flying spirits around, so that moves the cricket ball. So exactly at the point where it passes his gloves. So look, they're just I think just a little bit of sooks at the moment in terms of that dismissal. Everyone I've seen on social media, all the Indians being like, it's clearly Australia cheating. It's not the case. There were 4 not out decisions that we had to overturn using DRS.
Yeah.
I think in that second innings alone, wasn't it?
Yeah,
To
yeah,
be given out. So I mean, and Rohit Sharma's come out and said that it looks like he hit the ball. So
yeah.
um,
I just think at the end of the day, the Indian frustration, and even I think I've seen some general world cricket fans, they're saying Aussie's cheating, all that. I think that the main sort of frustration comes from the fact that we're trying to rely on the technology, and when the technology didn't say he hit it, but to the naked eye, everybody could see that he hit it. So then
mm,
the question of the actual technology comes into play, and whether we need to change that somehow and look at it from a different angle potentially.
yeah. Well, I think you obviously had the shape of the ball moving away there, anyways. So is that enough to give it out? Like, I think, in my opinion, yes. I think it's more of a problem with the technology more than a problem with people's eyes and being an optical illusion, according to
Yep.
Sunil Gavaskar. So, uh, the technology missed the trick there. It's not going to be right 100% of the time, but I think to the naked eye, it was pretty obvious that he smoked it.
Yep. Could not agree more. Now, move to Travis Head. His celebration is apparently causing death threats. So you brought this one to my attention, Marcus. So we obviously,
Yes.
for those who don't know, his celebration after Rishabh's punt wicket, people can interpret it different ways, but it's obviously come out and it's been said that it is a reference to when he took, I think, 4 for 10 against Sri Lanka, or 3 for 10, and he put his finger in ice after the game because it's sort of like representing the fact that he's got a bit of a golden arm, a bit of a hot finger when it comes to taking wickets for his country. So,
Yeah, 100%. Look, him getting death threats and his partner receiving death threats as well. First, actually know what the celebration is before you start doing all this stuff, because uh, no one likes to hear that.
yeah, absolutely. And sort of switching our focus to later in the month, Pat Cummins, captain of Australia, is set to miss at least one, if not both, tests for against Sri Lanka in Sri Lanka. I think that's due to the birth of his second child. So yeah, no arguments here from us, I would say, and from the wider Australian public. He always puts cricket at a high level, I think, and a lot of people had a crack at him for going to that Coldplay concert. I don't know if you were one of them,
Yeah.
Marcus, but
I mean, I was at a Coldplay concert, yeah, when they came to Melbourne, so I certainly not going to disagree with Pat Cummins there.
yeah. So I think no qualms here, but it'll be interesting to see how that team will now look and whether Steve Smith will captain. I would say he would. So
Well, I think if anything, it's a good thing. You
yeah,
can almost just take him out and bring in a permanent spinner.
yeah,
It
I
just
think
gives you the license to do that.
yeah, for sure, especially in those conditions. All right, let's get into the big test preview for the fifth and final test between Australia and India at the SCG. We'll get into some big questions. Now, they revolve around selection. Would you play Stark if he's fit? I know he went for scans, but I haven't really heard if he's in or out yet. Don't think there's been any sort of breaking news on it at the moment as we record. Knowing us, we put this out and then it'll come out that he's either in or out. That's the case all the time.
Well, there you go, that's
Um,
fair. Well, we don't know at this point. I think he shouldn't play.
yep.
In all honesty, like, I know, like, if you can try and play for your country, then you do that by all means. But you could see in the MCG test, particularly in the first innings, there was something wrong,
Yep.
and he wasn't up for it.
Yep.
And the second innings, he bowled a little bit better, but again, not the Mitchell Stark of the first three test matches of the series, where he was Australia's best bowler.
Yeah.
Um, and he was arguably probably the worst bowler for the Aussies on the Boxing Day test. So when you got people like your man Jai Richardson or Sean Abbott just waiting in the wings, give him a go. Give him
Yeah.
a go. It's probably better than an injured Mitch Stark.
Yeah. I tend to agree. I think, look, we don't know. At the end of the day, we don't know how he's feeling. We don't know if he is 100% or not. But I think when it comes down to it, he we have the depth to replace him. Like, I think we can still win this test match without him, and I think that's how we need to be thinking. We have the depth in the fast bowling stocks. I think it's Jai time, Marcus. I think it's Jai time. Get him in. Get
Well, hopefully he
the
doesn't get injured
ball.
before in the warm up before
Oh,
the game.
Jesus, that
That'll
would
be
be worst
classic
case
Jai Richardson.
scenario. Yeah. But I think it's time for him. He can swing it both ways. He gets good nip off the surface. I think he's a different bowler to Cummins and Boland as well. I think they all
Mm.
offer something a little bit different. So why not get him in? Let's get a bit of excitement going. I'll be up if Jai's playing. I'll watch every ball he bowls. 100%. Lock it
Yeah,
in.
I know you will as well.
What other changes would you make to this team, Marcus? Mitch Marsh out
Mitch
potentially.
Marsh out. Yeah, I think he has to.
Yeah.
Look, we look at other players who got dropped this series, and McSweeney comes to mind, and he's had a better series so far than Mitch Marsh,
Yeah.
my opinion. But yeah, he was the one to make way. So he has to go out. What you do with that all-rounder sort of spot, I'm not sure. Considering it might be, I think from the sounds of it, spin
Yeah.
heavy deck. Although it looks very very green. Although they're going to do a lot of rolling before tomorrow.
Mm.
So do you bring in an all-rounder that is a decent part-timer with spin, or do you just bring in the like for like and Beau Webster?
Yeah, well, I think honestly, Beau Webster can cover that spin option. I think he can give you the best of both worlds. He gives you the all rounder who can bowl a bit of medium pace, but then he can also come in and bowl some off spin as well. And
Anyone can bowl offies.
well, I don't
I
know. I
mean,
don't know about that one. I don't think I can.
it's offies is pretty easy. It's just the tactics behind it is what you got to do so well, which is
Yeah,
obviously the likes of Ashwin and Lyon.
yeah, for sure, for sure. In terms of an Indian perspective, you're dropping their skipper Rohit Sharma, been out of
Oh,
form.
it is. That'll be so harsh, though. I
Mm,
think like he obviously hasn't been up for it and he's looked out of sorts. But in saying that, he is being chopped and moved around the order, which doesn't do great for his confidence already, which would be low.
yeah.
Uh, so I think you know what he's the captain. Give him a chance to bring himself back on the world stage.
Yeah, I actually I thought about this. I think they should keep him in, and I reckon just say to him, look, India have a, they have some batting depth in their team, and we'll
Oh
get
yeah.
to further selection on what I think they should do as well. But they should just say to Sharma, they should open him up and just say, just go for it.
Mm,
Like if you're a bit reckless, who cares? Because if you do what Sam Constas did at Boxing Day and it pays off and you get a 60 off 65 like Constas did, then all of a sudden you've set your team up, you've taken a risk. And if you go out, then you've got the defense of KL Rahul, you've got Kohli, potentially Pant, you've got all these guys to come back in. It's risky, but I think it's the risk they need to take if they want to retain this trophy. So I think I'd
mm.
back him in, and I think I'd just say, look, mate, just have a bit of fun with it because when growing up watching Rohit Sharma play shorter form, it was always his attack and his aggressive nature that put teams on the back foot. And it just looks like the last couple of tests he's gone away from that. So if he does play, I would like to see that. I wouldn't like to see it as an Aussie fan. I'd like to see it as a cricket fan.
Yeah, everyone wants to see Rohit Sharma just have a bit of crash and bash once he gets into the crease. But two people who you've mentioned here on the run sheet, Shubman Gill and Jarrell,
Yep, they're
um,
waiting, aren't they?
they're waiting and they're ready. And in all honesty, I would love to see one of those two come in from an Indian perspective,
Yep.
whether that's taking out a batsman or just taking out a specialist bowler.
Yeah, well, you bring that up. I think they should take Siraj out. Figures of 3 for 192 in the last test is not pretty reading. I think he's been slowly waning. He started the series in hot form and he's sort of declined every test since, I think, in terms of his output.
Mm,
I would bring him out, and we know with the SCG it is a bit more spin heavy. They have Jadeja, who I'd keep in. They have Sundar, who I'd keep in. Then you stick with Deep, you stick with Bumrah, and Reddy can chip in for overs. That's five bowlers that could bowl for a long time, who offer
mm.
you something different and are suited for the conditions. I think Siraj should be out of the team, and I'd bring in Shubman Gill, and I think it gives them even more batting depth to what they already have. Potentially even Jarrell if they wanted to.
I like that, and it makes India more likable as well. I don't think anyone from an Australian point of view, because he just gets unnecessarily fired up,
Yeah.
which can be a good thing and a bad thing in a sense. It can be bad because you create that unnecessary drama, and then you create unwanted momentum that Australia can bring on themselves if they
Mm,
get on top for a few overs.
yeah.
Um, so he just needs to keep himself cool, calm, and collected. But India team news will be interesting.
Yeah, for sure. The last one I just want to touch on is Rishabh Pant out. potentially.
Oh,
They're going to look at Dural, I reckon, for his replacement to take the gloves. But is it harsh, or is there something? Is there a little merit behind it?
it's going to be interesting, isn't it?
Mm.
You saw the second shot he got out on, which was against spin, and you'd think he'd be facing that a decent amount of the time. He'd be facing a lot of Nathan Lyon, probably a little bit more of Travis Head
Yeah.
if he gets the nod with the ball. So, look, it's one of those where a few bad innings like he has now and a few bad shots makes him look like a terrible option for the squad.
Yeah.
But in saying that, he could go out there and make a century, and everyone will be applauding him for his play style and his aggressive nature on a
Yeah.
turning SCG pitch. It's whatever comes with how the innings goes. And look, I'd probably keep him in there for now. Like you said, I'd drop a specialist bowler.
Yeah. I think I agree with you there, Marcus. I'd keep Pant in. He is, as you know, a bit. You're like, what are you doing, Pant? Like
It's
at
very
times,
erratic.
yeah,
Very.
very erratic. But I think at the end of the day, going into this series, I know all of us, stats guy included, were like, Pant's the worry. Like if he gets going, we can't stop him. We didn't last time,
Mm,
so why would we be able to this time? So I still think just a little down patch for him, and I think he'll hit some form.
yeah.
Maybe this test, we'll see though.
Well, yeah, I agree completely.
All right, we've got some breaking news. We actually ended the podcast and we're slipping this in midway through the podcast. Beau Webster's making his debut. Mitch Marsh is dropped. We just talked about it, but what do you think, Marcus? Early thoughts, vibes. What do you reckon?
Early thoughts is, of course, we had to slip that in. It's BBW,
Big Beau
Big
Webster.
Beau Webster, making his test
How
debut.
good.
We love him. Bit of a fan favorite. Love the way he goes about his business.
Yep.
Excited to see him in this one. And by the sounds of it, looks like he'll be bowling some part-time spin
Yep.
as well. So interesting selection. Obviously, that means Mitch Marsh has dropped. Thank God. He's had a terrible summer so far. So bit of reward for Beau Webster.
Yep. No, I think a lot of Aussies would be in favour of this selection. He's a pretty handy bat. I think he can bat at a good strike rate, which will help put some pressure on the Indian bowlers. He can bowl spin. He can bowl med. He's got huge hands, so I reckon get him in gully as well. I reckon he'll be a bit of a force in gully.
He's a bit of a like for life for Cam Green in that
Like,
sort of
yeah,
sense, isn't he?
I think he's at well over 200 centimeters, big bucket hands. Nothing's getting through him at gully. So
It
yeah, good selection.
it'll probably help. It'll probably help being taller or have the long levers when he's facing spin. He can get to the ball quicker, get down the pitch
Yep.
easier. So exciting
Yeah.
selection. Can't wait to see him in action. To be
Yeah,
honest.
same. All right, we'll get back into the regular show now. Let's get into some predictions. Most runs, Marcus. I'll start with you and your new favorite player by the looks of things.
He doesn't have aura just yet. He doesn't have aura just yet. But he is very good, and it's SJ as well.
Yep.
I love this boy. I love the way he bats. Like I said, he'll be number one Test batsman for many years.
Yep.
And the credit to him, he's doing it while he's opening the batting when the ball's moving around. He's that one player for India in the top order that I care about their wicket the most.
Yeah.
At this
And
current,
that's huge when you got, the
when
likes of Kohli and Rahul there as well.
yeah,
Like
100%. It's just I don't know when he's batting, he's so calm. It looks so easy for
he's
him.
really confident too. Like it's
He is.
impressive for such a young player.
He is. He's quietly confident as well about it.
Mm.
I like the way he does his business. So I think he makes the most runs in this one. I was tempted to put Shubman Gill in there, who he hasn't even played in the
Yeah.
last couple. He didn't play in the last Test match, but I just think with spin, it'll favour the Indian batsman. So I think I'm going to go pretty Indian heavy with my predictions here.
It'll be interesting to see as well from a JSL perspective if Stark doesn't play, because if Stark's obviously had his number a few times throughout this test series. So if Stark's out, then that just opens him up even more, doesn't it, really?
And you're facing consistent right arm pace bowls as well, which is obviously a little bit easier than going right arm, left arm, right arm, left arm.
Yep, for sure. For me, I'm going Khawaja. Now, this is a
the people's champ.
This is a very questionable call, I'd say, just based on his form this series. but he loves the SCG. He loves the slower wickets. That's why he scored a half century at the MCG in that first innings, because it was a little bit slower. He averages 104 at the SCG. He absolutely loves this track, and I just think if he can get through that initial opening ball spell, he'll be on for a big one. That's his issue. That's been his issue this Test series, is that he just can't get past Bumrah and Siraj or Deep, whoever's bowling that first spell. If he can just get past that swinging ball, I don't care if he plays and misses 60 out of 60 times, I think he can really cash in and make a big score. So I'm going Uzi. I want to see it too. I love when Uzi makes runs. It's so good.
Home ground. It's built in the stars. It's going to happen. I think he is going to make runs.
I hope so.
I agree with you there. And it's a good little tester for the Sri Lanka tour coming up, which again, he dominates in sort of subcontinent pitches. And even though this isn't a subcontinent pitch, it's the most like you're going to get in Australia.
Yeah, for sure. Most wickets, I think I'll start. I think Jasprit Bumrah, he's just went up with another 10 for, and you're like,
yeah, easy prediction. Easy.
Well, he did that last time, and he got 9 wickets for the match.
Yeah, that's fair. He doesn't let you down, does he?
He's insane. It's just at the point now. I want to know if like Indians are actually bored and they're just like, oh, Bumrah another wicket, sure. Like, let's get a deep Akash deep fifer. Come on, I'm cheering it on. Let's go.
Where would they be without Jasprit Bumrah?
I know.
God, I don't know. And yeah, Akash Deep actually has been like surprisingly very pleasant. I really like the way he goes about his business. But I'm going to go an Indian spinner here. I'm going to go Jadeja.
Yep,
he always haunts the Aussies. And with ball in hand, even in the MCG test, he took quite a few wickets, didn't he? He took 4 in one of the innings.
Yeah, I think it might have been 3 maybe.
So yeah, he's been superb, and look, he's been in and out of the test side this series, but this is a ground where I think he comes into his own and comes back for revenge.
Yeah, I think he's a danger man for the Aussie batsman on this SCG wicket, which is genuinely known for spin. All right, prediction, Marcus. I've gone Australia. I've been a bit skeptical since the Perth test to tip Australia, but I just think momentum has shifted since then. Obviously, dominant in the day-nighter in Adelaide. Would have won the Gabba if it wasn't for rain. And then clinching the MCG test. I think that's huge for the Aussies, because I feel like if India just snuck through a draw, they would have been like, oh, that's like as good as a win, and would have gone on to potentially win this last test. So I just think the momentum's with Australia, and I think that just clinching it in the final session just gives the team a lot of belief and a lot of confidence that they do have the killer instinct, and they just need to be able to bring it out a bit more. But you've gone different.
Yeah, I have gone different. I've gone India to win this one. I hate to say it, but just the pitch suits them so much. Australia kind of, I don't know, they have a weird record at the SCG. Where we're good, we're not great. Obviously, it rains a lot of the time, but I think this one we're going to get at least 4 good days of play in, and that could be enough to see a result in this Test match. So I don't think you will see like massive scores like you did at the G in the first innings, particular with Australia 400 odd and India 370. So India for me, unfortunately, and that means they retain the Border-Gavaskar trophy.
Yeah, geez, there you go. I don't mind that, Marcus, but
as much as I hate to see it, and I hate to say it, is look, India in Sydney, I think it's just built for them.
Yeah, look, I mean, this is against brand for you, I reckon. I feel like you've been pretty much on the Aussies, but yeah, we'll see.
Look, you don't get your hopes up too high, and especially on camera, because then you'll just be brought back down to reality. So I'm trying to.
No, you're not wrong.
I'm jinxing them.
Yeah, to be fair, we all tipped Australia in the first test, and look how that turned out. Then I think we all tipped India in the second test, and there you go.
Yeah, there you
go. Before we get into all things BBL and Supercoach BBL, make sure to check out TABTouch for their sports markets, which cover every BBL match this season. Got the touch? Download TABTouch today. Think, is this a bet you really want to place? For free and confidential support, call 1-800-858-858 or visit gamblinghelponline.org.au. Let's get into a quick BBL wrap. Some talking points for the last few games, Marcus. I said it in the last podcast. I had a question mark on the end, though. The Hurricanes and Thunder, are they sneakily good? And I think they've proven they're sneakily good. Thunder beating the Gades, Hurricanes beating the undefeated Sixers.
I don't think they're very sneaky about it anymore.
Yep.
They're going really well. The Thunder's up to third, Hurricanes in fourth. So look, they're 2 of 3 teams on 6 points. Looks like at least one of those teams will be playing finals.
Yep, I reckon. I think I have a little bit more faith in the Thunder. I think they just have a bit more of a well-rounded squad. I think David Warner firing was obviously the difference against the Gades, but I think they've got a few more all-rounders there. I think the Thunder that can help them win games.
They probably escaped in that game a little bit. Actually, the Renegades should have won that game. Compared to about 8 to 10 overs, the Renegades were in a pretty handy position. But they're winning games. That's the most important thing. They're finding a way to win games when they shouldn't. So onwards and upwards for the Thunder this season.
Yep, for sure. And this is probably the most important talking point. The Stars won a game, Marcus. How do you feel? How are you feeling as a Stars fan?
Relieved, happy. Maxwell is the safest hands in the world.
How good was that catch? That was insane.
They've been talking about, is that the greatest BBL catch ever? What do you reckon? What do you think?
Oh, it's got to be up there. I think him or Jordan Silk's taken about 5 that could be in the conversation.
Yeah.
Sutherland the other night against the Thunder was quite good. Don't know if you saw that one.
It was good, but
I don't think it's at Maxi's level.
That's more of a catch of the season sort of catch, more than an all-timer. Jake Fraser McGurk's, which they didn't show on air last night, was pretty. I think he was that against Adelaide.
Yeah, maybe? Adelaide. Yeah.
So it's up there, but I think Jordan Silk for me.
Yeah, I think Silk too. I think just the timing of Maxi, though, to firstly know where the rope is, time it, and then the ball's coming at him so hard to just sort of take it with momentum so seamlessly and then loop it up in the right spot. It's just phenomenal.
Trust me, Leo, mate. It's not easy to take one handers on the bench straight down the ground.
Here we go.
No, but Maxi, the problem is Maxi made it look so easy, which is a detriment to how hard the catch actually was. If there was a bit more mayo on that, it would look even better, and arguably it wouldn't be a discussion about the best catch.
Yeah, it honestly, it just looks so clean. Like sometimes, as you said, when you get to those rope ones, there's a little bit of juggling or doesn't look as clean. That's the smoothest catch I think I've ever seen on the boundary for something so difficult.
And and just look, the silence from the crowd when he actually takes it, being like, did he actually just do that?
Yeah.
I was watching it live. I'm like, has he actually taken the catch here? Because he hasn't really celebrated. But he took it with ease.
Yeah, definitely. Let's get into some quick fire tips for the upcoming BBL games. I think this covers off until Monday. Tonight's game, Gade Strikers. Who you liking, Marcus?
The Renegades for me at home.
Yeah, I think I'll go the Gades, but it's a huge game, I think, just because both teams probably need a win to just stay in touch with finals. I reckon.
Hopefully a better pitch.
Hopefully,
an outfield this time out at Marvel.
Not the swamp from last time, as Fergus O'Neill called it. Heat versus Sixers.
Oh, that is a tough one.
Heat have lost their last 3, by the way.
This is another grand final rematch, isn't it? So they have lost their last 3, but I think I'm going to go the Heat.
Yeah,
I think I'm going to go the Heat. I think no matter what score they put up with Spencer Johnson, Xavier Bartlett at the Gabba, anything's possible with ball in hand.
Yeah, I think I might just lean Sixers. I think Scorchers Thunder.
I going to go the Scorchers.
This will be a good game. Yeah,
they haven't been great. Have they the Scorchers? What are they now? They're 3-2. They are second with a handy net run rate, but they have played.
I would agree they haven't been great in their second.
Yeah, they have played a game more than the 3 teams below them.
Yep.
But still, I think they get the job done.
Yeah, I'm leaning Scorchers, but I think that'll be one of the best games coming up. The Derby, Gades Stars. I'm going Gades here.
Stars, mate. They're not going to lose a game from here on in.
Can they make finals? If they win their last 4 games and they're 5-5, they could make finals. They just need a good net run rate.
They could, but that's going to be so rough because some teams have only played 4 games and they've got 3 wins already. So you're just
Yeah.
hoping on the downfall of other teams, and they're going to have to win a couple games convincingly.
Yeah, for sure. It'll be tough.
Which I don't think will happen, but I'll back the Stars, even
Back your
though
boys.
I'm a bit of a closet BBL fan, but they finally got a win on the board, so keep it going.
Fair enough. And last one, Canes versus the Strikers. I think I'm leaning to the Hurricanes.
I'm going to go to Strikers.
Yep.
I thought they would be good at the start of the season. They've disappointed me. 1-4, lost the last 3. So I'm hoping they get back on board here. They definitely got the team to do so.
Yep.
And against the Hurricanes, who probably have a similar sort of squad, I'd hope they get over the line here.
They have 2 winnable games, obviously Gades tonight and then the Canes. So if they want to make finals, they have to be 3-4, don't they? They can't drop one of these games. They have to win.
A couple more losses and that's curtains.
For sure. Let's get into a Supercoach wash sort of review. Round still going. Current round 4 score with what you projected. What are you looking at here, Marcus? What do you got?
433 at the moment. Not great considering like Captain Jamie Overton, and he had an absolute stinker against the Scorchers, but he does have the chance to redeem himself tonight against the Gades, which I hope he does. But I'm still projected 1,120.
Mate, that's
somehow.
huge. That's so
good. Apparently, I'm supposed to get 700 points from tonight's game.
Take that.
But similarly, Stats Guy is still projected over 1,000. He's projected 1,049, and he's currently on 248. So, how does that math work? No one will know.
No one knows.
I think he's doctored that. But what about yourself, Leo?
I'm on 422, only projecting 932. Unfortunately, I saw the Matt Short news too late and I could not reverse any trades or change my captaincy. So my vice captain, Tim Seifert, needs to go absolutely huge tonight for that to be justified.
He's been it was disappointing a little bit against the Thunder Seifert. Yeah. I brought him in as well for this round. But look, Matt Short was a kick in the teeth, wasn't it? He's in my team as well.
Yeah.
So luckily, he didn't have him captain.
Yeah, for sure. Let's get into some buy, hold, sell for round 5, which begins tomorrow night, Friday night. I'll kick it off. I think you just got to buy your Thunder players. So everyone in round 5 doesn't have a double, or like everyone plays once.
Yep.
Round 6, the Thunder have the double. So I reckon you got to start prepping for that now.
Yep.
Look at David Warner, look at Wes Agar, Daniel Sams, all been in pretty good form of late. I'd look for any of those. Hold Stoinis. I just think, why not? He got 4 overs last night. He batted well. He's hitting some form. Don't trade him off now. And then I would start to look to offload some of the Strikers players, because in round 6, the following round, they have a bye. So I would look to offload if you have Henry Thornton like I do, or Lloyd Pope. And then you can look at potentially Matt Short later on, Jamie Overton if you want some cash gen. So that's what I'm looking at. Marcus, what are you looking at?
I'm pretty similar. Buying, again, it's another Thunders player. One person that I did bring in this round was Sam Billings. Break even is -47. He scored 40 this week. It was a little bit disappointing with the bat, as was a lot of the Thunder top order, apart from David Warner in that game against the Gades. But Sam Billings, for me, if he's not in your team, bring him in, whether that's keeper or as a batsman with the double. I'm holding another Stars player, Glenn Maxwell.
Yep.
Safe as houses, so he's going to get you plenty of points in the field. Took 4 catches, and they were all the points that he received from last night's game against the Brisbane Heat, because he got out for a golden duck. They only needed 3 runs to win. And he just went for a bit of a tonk and got out to a good catch by Matty Renshaw. So I think there's potential in Maxi, and if they pay on any more spin-friendly sort of decks, he'll probably get an over or 2 here or there. He seems to get an over at least every game so far. So, and again, similarly for selling players, any Strikers players, get them out the door. I'm probably going to get rid of I'm probably going to get rid of Matt Short, cash gen, perhaps keep Overton on the bench, but like I said, bring in a couple of Thunders players as we prep for round 6.
Yeah, we're thinking ahead here. I like it. Planning in advance. Stats guy would not know about that. The absolute destructible kid from your class. But we'll get into some question and fan comments now.
Oh, favorite segment.
Favorite segment.
We love it.
We've got some YouTube ones, which is good because we'll bit skimp on them last time, but now we've got some new ones from Andrew TE2157.
He's one of my favorites in the comment section.
He does comment quite a bit. We do love his comments. He hasn't watched much Test cricket, so he can't say if it was the best Test match ever. But as a neutral, he was thoroughly entertained. After this series, he can clearly see that Test cricket is the superior form of the game. 100% agree with that one.
100%. The Test cricket is by far the pinnacle of the sport. Look, you might only get those once a year, those types of games, like for your nation, but we've seen some great finishes in Test cricket, the best matches. For a game that goes for 8 hours a day for 5 days, and you get down to the final hour in a game like that with that magnitude, that's why we love Test cricket. And we've seen similar games. South Africa did it recently to secure their spot in the World Test Championship final.
Yep.
Who did they down? Pakistan, was it?
Yep.
In their game over there in dramatic fashion. Look, this is why everyone fell in love with cricket. There didn't used to be 2020 games.
Back in my day.
Just used to be classic tests with the hard men.
With the hard men. Well, 68 Arclight doesn't actually agree. He says, best test match. Sorry. In the end, Australia won by a huge margin with an hour to spare. India were never in it. I can kind of see his point, or their point. I can kind of see their point. But at the end of the day, like, last session, 5 days of just intense storylines and matchups and controversy, left, right, and center.
Yeah.
Like, I think it was
an absolute
epic game.
I think there were moments where it swayed so much. I think there were moments where India were in it.
Yeah.
I think if they stopped the partnership of Boland and Lyon, they could have well and truly been in the game and put themselves in a position to win.
Yeah, for sure.
But on the last day, they were never in it to win the game, but they were definitely in it to draw the game. And with 7 wickets in the final session, they should be drawing that game. Yeah, they shouldn't be losing that game.
No one really ever takes 7 wickets in a session, no matter what point on the test match it is. We got another one from AALK66. Rohit is not captaincy material for test. I don't know why he even got that chance. Rahane should have been the captain after Virat. Interesting call, that one.
Yeah, very interesting. I mean, Rohit has captained in the short format as well. I think he's not a bad captain, but his flaws have been highlighted with his poor form this series, and I think he's been, again, like majority of the Indian team, perhaps been a little bit too emotional as well. We've seen it on the field when he was talking to Akashdeep and he gave him an absolute spray after he bowled a wide one. Again with Jay as well after he dropped a couple of catches.
Good look,
so I think his form is getting to him a little bit, and he's becoming a little bit more of aggressive captain, and not in the good way. So look, I semi-agree with that comment.
Yeah. What about Bumrah? Captain the first test, they had 100% win rate. Just saying.
Yeah, just saying.
He can't do no wrong, Bumrah. Cannot do any wrong.
Well, I think when you got Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli standing in slips, I don't think Bumrah has much of a say anyways about what's going on, even if he is captain.
Yeah, fair.
So, look, who else would you pick from that team, though? Really?
Rahul?
Rahul, yeah, but he hasn't been in the test squad consistently for 5-10 years.
What about Rishabh Pant as captain?
Oh God, test games will be over in 2 days if that was the case.
We'd see some interesting field placings, I reckon.
Oh, 100%.
We'll get into some Facebook ones. They're all Scott Boland related, so we love this. Philip Bamfield says Boland must stay in this test side and Marsh has to be dropped. I think Boland has to stay in as well. Even if Hazelwood's fit, I'm low-key just on the Boland train. I think that's what everyone in Australia wants to see now, to be honest. The Scott Boland hype continues. And
he's taken wickets at the SCG as well before, so
hopefully
he probably won't retain his place for the Sri Lanka tour, just because of how the pitches are over there. But does he play next Ashes?
Yes, he's got to.
It has to play at the MCG at the very
It'll
least.
be a good battle with how the English bats play, because I know Joe Root reversed him a few times last time they played over in England. So,
which brings up a good point about Philip. Another Philip and Anna Emrose's comment. This guy Scott Boland should play more games for Australia. He doesn't give batsmen much to play with his tight bowling. So, like you said there, obviously with the aggressive nature of England, what they do with his tight bowling would be interesting to see.
Yeah, for sure. And another one, Brian Milligan just says Scott Boland deserves a permanent spot in this test side. How many times does he have to prove his worth? Amen. It just feels like they bring him in. They didn't play him last year at the MCG, did they? But they've brought him in for 2 MCG games for Boxing Day, and he's just absolutely... He's done what he's needed to do, if not more. So he's putting his hand up. What about me? Pick me more. Pick me more. So I think he's got to be picked.
I agree with you completely there. I'm gonna try find his averages really quick in Test cricket, because it is pretty low. He's played 12 matches, 46 wickets at average of 19.
Yeah, not bad.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, don't mind that at all. I'm calling it, Marcus. Stumps for the Cricket Today show. Thanks to TABTouch, we will continue to do this show. I think we'll be back Monday, Wednesday, Friday next week. If not Monday, I would say Tuesday, just to cover off any sort of more test action. Because if the test finishes Monday, we may as well do the show Tuesday. So just keep an eye out for that earlier in the week. Get around this show. Make sure you subscribe. We are at 2.64, was it, Marcus, on YouTube?
2.644.
We want 3K. Let's get to 3K. Come on.
Before the end of the SCG test, let's do it.
That won't be happening. Honestly, we need India to win, and then we'll get some more subscribers.
We can dream. We can dream.
Send in any questions and comments. We'll continue to go through the best comments on every show, so be sure to send them in. Thank you to myself for hosting. Thank you, Marcus, for coming on today.
The legend. Thanks, Leo, doing a mountain of work for cricket today over the past week.
I appreciate it. Appreciate the love. Thank you. I'll give a thank you to Stats Guy, just because he's enjoying himself. He's going to feel refreshed when he comes back, and we're going to get a happier Stats Guy. And that's what we all want.
He's going to be in the comment section of this video saying he misses us, and we're just going to try act distant. It's okay.
We're going to pretend we hate him, but we
can't get him too comfortable.
Kind of like him, sort of. Yeah. Thank you to Gerald for just again helping me set this all up. And thanks to TABTouch. Got the touch? Download TABTouch today. That's another rep of Cricket Today done. We're out.
Chances are you're about to lose. For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.